Hello folks, this is Chris, KY4CKP. Today in the shack, we have a brand spanking new FTDX-10. That's what's coming up next on LCARA Ham Radio. Ooh, look at that, folks. The new Hotness, the FTDX-10 in the shack. Yes, this is Chris, KY4CKP, as you saw in the intro. And we've got the new FTDX-10. Had an opportunity to put a radio in my wife's car for the first time, and wanted to do it right and get as much as I could out of only having one radio, one antenna. So I'm moving the FT991A, which I like very much, into her vehicle. Going to run the ATOS 120A antenna, which the 991 can tune directly. You don't have to have any additional tuner control boxes or anything. And that will give me 70 centimeters up through 40 meters. And I'm going to look to control that with the Win 4 Yaesu software and a Windows tablet to be the head unit for that. So look for that video to come up pretty soon. But right now, let's talk about this thing, the new FTDX-10. Very excited. Wasn't immediately in the market for a new radio, but again, had this opportunity to put a radio in my wife's car. She got a newer car, nice Toyota 4Runner 2020 model. And so I said, if I'm going to put a radio in that car, I'm going to have to get a new radio, either to go in the car or go in the shack. And after looking around, I decided to put the new radio in the shack and move the other one to the car. So here it is, and it showed up very quickly. Ordered it from Gigaparts, and they had it in stock, and it showed up very quickly, faster than expected, with the ATOS antenna and the diamond mount. So I was very happy about that. Of course, it's brand new. Just spent a day or two setting it up. I'm working this week, so don't have infinite amount of time to work on this, but wanted to get a video out here pretty quickly. Just kind of show a little bit of an unboxing here. I'm not real big on unboxings, but let's show a little bit of an unboxing here. You get kind of the typical things. You get the books. Of course, you get the Yaesu sticker there, and you get the microphone, the power cord. We'll see those things here in a minute, and the microphone mount and things. So, it's nicely boxed. That usually Yaesu and most of the main brand products are. It's always a good idea to hang on to your boxes and packaging, folks, just in case you're maybe traveling with the radio, unless you put together some other really nice travel box or something, or in case you ever did have to send it out for warranty. I actually had to send my 991 in 3 times, but it was under warranty, and they fixed the problem. And so had that nice original box and everything. It was packaged really well, and never had any damage from shipping to and from California. So it's a good idea for nice things like this to keep the packaging. And here we can just see the accessories that come in it. The power cable, kind of the classic 4-pin power cable that a lot of radios use. The microphone, the little hanger for the microphone, and some hardware for that. So yeah, was really got excited about this because it kind of came out of the blue in a way. Again, was not expecting to be in the market for a new radio anytime soon. But of course, we've all heard of the FTDX-10. It's kind of one of the new big radios on the market, and it certainly has seemed like it's going to be a very nice radio. ICOM really opened the floodgates to what a modern, SDR-based radio can do for the market, and I think it helped breathe a lot of new life into the market, especially into the sales side of it. I think a lot of people upgraded to the 7300. My brother has a 7300. They're awesome radios. So with the FTDX-10, it's a hybrid radio. It's part SDR and part super heterodyne. And I think it ends up with the best of both worlds, and we may get into that in a future video. But again, mostly doing the unboxing here, and also wanted to show here a little bit later in the video how I've got it hooked into my current monitor setup, because it has that external monitor port. So again, here we're taking a look at it. We're just slowly doing the reveal and starting to take it out of the packaging. And I did notice right away that It's bigger than the 991. You know, the 991 plain and alpha version, they're not small radios. They're not big giant shack radios either. They're in the middle. They're kind of in the middle. You know, is it a portable radio? Not really. Is it a mobile radio? Well, it can be. The main thing with the 991 is it doesn't have a removable head. I think I've kind of figured out a solution for that using a Windows tablet and the Win4Yaesu software. So we'll see how that works out, and I'm sure there'll be a video or two for that install. Here with the FTDX-10, it's definitely a wider radio. It's right about the same height. I've got a comparison pic coming up fairly soon. It's right about the same height and about the same depth, but it's definitely a wider radio, and of course the screen is bigger. The front main control layouts there are pretty similar to the 991A. It's not exact, but it's pretty similar, as you'll see in the comparison shot and this little video snippet right here. But you can see right there, it's an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches wider, but about the same height. It's pretty close to the same height, maybe just a hair higher, taller, but pretty close. And you can see that front panel. It's a very similar layout. If you're comfortable with the FT991, you're going to be pretty comfortable pretty quickly with the FTDX-10. A little different layout on a couple of things, but the layout's fairly close. One other difference here that I know some other folks have pointed out, I don't have a powered on shot, but if you've seen the 991 and you've seen it in some of my other videos, a nice thing about the 991, it's a very nice radio, shack in a box. The keys and things are backlit. And that's really nice. That's a really nice feature. That's something that the FTDX-10 does not have. It's not a deal breaker. It wasn't for me anyway, but it would have been nice. It would have been nice to see those keys backlit. So are we going to see an FTDX-10A or something in the future? And maybe a few of those things might slip in. You know, who knows? But you get the size comparison there. Now, I had the portable zero aluminum rails. On the 991, I've got those on my portable 891. They're very nice rails. They're not inexpensive, but they're very nice rails. I like those. I like having those on the radio because it gives me a place to rest my hand as I'm manipulating the dials and buttons and different things. I think they look kind of cool too. I've got some on order for the FTDX-10. They've already started making some for the FTDX-10, so I've got those on order. And again, those will probably end up popping into a part 2 to this video or a future video. Of course, here's the back of the unit, and it's got a lot of the relatively common things on a modern radio. It does have that DVI monitor output, and you can even plug in a keyboard and a mouse to this. I've got hooked up to my monitors, my existing set of monitors I use just for my home office, and I'll kind of show how I've got that working. It turned out pretty cool. I was initially kind of disappointed because it wasn't working out too well, but then I kind of figured out a way to do it, and it's kind of cool. And I'm using the USB B port, that kind of square port as opposed to the flat rectangle. I've got it connected to my computer for cat control, and so I'm using the Win4Yaesu software just like I did on the FT991A. That's a really nice piece of software. If you haven't seen it, they have Win4ICOM and Win4Yaesu. It is Windows only, but if you're on that platform, it's a nice setup. Of course, the antenna hooked up and everything. So I've only been able to mess with it a little bit, but I'm enjoying it so far. This is the cable I bought because usually folks are interested in that kind of thing. So this was the cable, not an expensive cable, but it's that DVI to HDMI converter cable, and it has built-in ferrite beads and everything. So whether they help a lot or not, makes me feel better and helps me to sleep at night. So it wasn't a very expensive cable. So that's what I've got hooked up. From the back of the unit to an AB, a 2-position HDMI switcher. We'll see that sneak into one of the video clips here in a minute, and going into my main monitor setup. So here we're just kind of taking a look at the front of the device. Of course, I ripped off the plastic protectors immediately. I'm one of those people. I don't have to leave those on for weeks or months or anything, because I want it to look pretty right from day one. It's a good looking radio, folks. The camera really can't do the screen justice. It is not only a bigger screen than the 991, it's a nicer screen. The refresh is is actually better. Now here's an early test I was doing with an external monitor, and that's a 27-inch slightly curved monitor. It looks pretty awesome when you're sitting in front of it. Yeah, the onboard screen to the unit, it is nicer than the 991, clearer, deeper colors, faster response time. So that was that was pretty cool. But yeah, doing the early tests, I was a little disappointed at first because I hooked it in to my newer 27-inch monitor. I've got 3 curved 27-inch monitors. I'm a technology instructor, and I teach from home a lot, and I like to have a lot of screen real estate. I've been in IT a long time. And I was hooking it up to my new monitors, and it would never sync up. It would never display the picture. The radio, and again, we'll probably cover this in a future part 2 or something, you can output to the external monitor as either 800 by 600 or 800 by 460, I think it is. 480, I guess it is. It never would sync up. The monitor just would never sync up. And I was thinking, man, I can't believe this newer monitor can't sync up to this. I wonder if it's just too low of a resolution, because all my new monitors, they're all the same. They're 2K monitors, 1440 2K monitors. And I was thinking, man, maybe these new monitors just can't handle such an old and low resolution like that. I was really about to give up and think about, well, how can I use this old monitor? Because it's a decent monitor, just to run the radio, but I didn't have a good ergonomic place to put it was going to be the problem. I could have figured something out. And then I had one final thought. And so here you can see I've got things set up, where I can use Log4OM version 2 as my logging software, and it can control the radio. I've got and done videos on some of this software and some of this stuff. There's the Win for Yaesu software. It can control the radio, of course, through that USB CAT connection. And of course, the radio keeps in sync with everything. And then if I switch over and show the external monitor view, well, of course, it shows everything on a nice big monitor, and it stays in sync. So everything stays in sync. Everything can control. So it works out very nicely when I'm, making a lot of contacts and spending some time on the radio. Of course, I can have another little window open there with link to QRZ, and on the right-hand side, which you'll see a little bit later, I've got the third monitor, and I can have my web browser and whatever else going on over there. So it works out to be a very efficient setup. I can log contacts and manipulate the radio and still surf the internet and look at QRZ and just have a lot of fun while I'm sitting here in my home office, my shack. So it worked out well. But before I could get this center monitor to work, I was trying that side one there on the left that you see right now, and it just wouldn't sync. And so I had a final thought. For these external monitors, because I actually run a laptop, I'm using an external USB-C dual port monitor card, and it can do 2K for one and 1080p for the other. And so I was plugging into that, nothing was working, and I finally just had a thought. I'm thinking, well, I wonder if that device, that dual port external USB card, I wonder if that is interfering. And so I said, well, I plug straight in to my center monitor because my laptop has a USB out connection. And I said, I wonder if I have a 2-position AB switcher for HDMI. I said, I wonder if I can plug it in there and get it to work. And sure enough, as you can obviously see in this video where I'm listening to a QSO, it synced right up. Now, that was cool enough because now I could use the monitors that I normally have set up and I don't have to do anything weird. There you can see the right-hand monitor. But what's cool about it, and I kind of discovered this, just doing some initial playing around, is when I have it set up to run my normal computer, interface, the 3 monitors work. You can see the monitor there. The onboard monitor for the laptop goes dark because I don't need it or use it for anything. But when I use that AB switch and I switch over to the output from the radio, you can see the radio comes up, but then it also automatically activates the laptop monitor. So when I'm doing a lot of radio, I can still open my laptop lid. I usually have it partially closed. So I can open that lid, have a 4th monitor basically. So have as much screen real estate as I want with the left monitor, the right, and the center. So this has been really cool so far, and we're gonna do a follow-up to this one. Stay tuned, folks. This is Chris, KY4CKP for Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio 73.